Hey folks, welcome to the Foolish Canuck podcast. This is May 22nd, 2020. I'm your host, Chris Timms, and how's it going? How's your world? I hope everything's doing well. It's a gorgeous fucking day outside today. It's been a gorgeous day the past couple days. I wish I could enjoy it more. Where I live, you go out and you try to, you go down to the park to take a walk, or you walk through the neighborhood and there's just literally hundreds of fucking people not social distancing and not wearing masks. And, yeah, I'm conflicted because, I want to go outside. I want to be a part of what's going on out there, but I also don't want to get really sick. So I don't know what to do. I go out at night. That's what I've been doing. I've been going out late at night when everyone's in bed. But still, I need some fucking sunshine. And, yeah, I don't know. It's my little battle I have. I look out the window and I try to count how many people there are, and then I try to estimate how many people I can't see, and then based on that number, I go out or not. That's pretty much how that works. It's a weird times, folks. It's weird times, but I've been trying to get some skateboarding in. It's like something you can do solo. And again, going out during the day, it's fucking packed everywhere. So I go out at night. I've been skateboarding at night, and yeah, getting back into it, feeling good. I know I'm 35, and people make fun of me for skateboarding, but people who skateboard wouldn't. So fuck you. I don't know. I don't care. Yeah, it's been great exercise. My lady friend's been getting into it, or kids into it, and I started getting back into it last year. I bought a board and some parts and started kind of cruising around. And I had a goal to relearn all my tricks by the end of last summer, but I ended up spending most of last summer just getting comfortable ripping around on the board again. And, a few little tricks, but nothing major. And then this year, I'm like, all right, we're busting out some moves. Problem is the board I got right now, it's not, it's more of a cruising board. It's not labeled a cruising board or anything, but the way I built it up, the wheels I put on it and shit, it's more for cruising. It's heavy. And, so anyway, I was trying to skate some tricks there the other night, and I was just couldn't land. Well, I was struggling to land anything, and I was having to put everything I had to fucking flip this board around. So I bought a new skateboard. I ordered it online, which is kind of weird. A whole new complete. I didn't get to see it. I didn't get to touch it. So I was trying to go buy decks and companies that I've ridden in the past that I have an idea. I'm like, oh, I liked that deck. I didn't like that deck. I like this. I don't like that. So I ordered online. I was trying to support local. So this is I had this you want to support local, you want to support the small companies. Well, we'll see what you guys think. So that's what I did. I went online and I looked at all the local skate shops. I was to see what they had, and frankly, the selections weren't great. Prices were really expensive. I haven't been working since March, so it's not like I'm just rolling in money. I can't just go out and buy shit all the time. And to buy a full complete skateboard, you're looking at a couple $100, right? So, they didn't nothing in Ottawa had what I wanted. So I looked at some other independent skate shops, Montreal, Toronto, and around. And again, it was either way too expensive, and or they just didn't have the selection, right? I couldn't. So here's the thing, you're growing up when you're a kid, and it's you want all these things, right? Like skateboarding wise, but everything's so expensive. So you do with what you can, right? And you make do, and you're busting skateboards all the time when you're a kid. So your parents aren't going to spend hundreds of dollars on a deck, right? Now that I'm an adult, though, I look at it and I'm like, why shouldn't I why not just get everything that I've always wanted in a skateboard, So that's kind of what I did. I was like, fuck it. If I'm going to spend this money that I technically don't have, I'm going to get everything I want, and it's going to be a happy present. It was my birthday a couple weeks ago, so why not spoil myself? It's a birthday present to myself, right? So I did. That's what I did. I ordered from Zoomies, which I'm guessing is a large corporation. I don't know. I know I see them in malls and around, so I'm guessing, similar to like a West 49 or whatever, like some trendy skate shop thing. However, they had a really great deal on their website. You can build your own complete starting at $169. Mine ended up costing me $215, and I got everything I want. So I was slightly conflicted, I was like, fuck, I really wanted to. This was a thing where I could have supported local, right? And ended up going through this bigger company. And I don't know much about the company, so I don't know if they're a major corporation or if they're like a Canadian corporation or they're from California. I don't know. I know that their Canadian offices are based in British Columbia, and that their customer service is fucking awesome. Because so I ordered the skateboard, the whole fucking everything I needed, all the parts, kits, pieces, all the kit and caboodle is what I was gonna say. I don't know what a kit or a caboodle is, whatever. And I noticed on their website they were selling face masks, like, pandemic face masks. So I ordered a couple of them. I got one for my lady friend, has a unicorn on the front and says majestic as fuck. And I got one for myself, has some skulls on it. Why not? If you're going to have to wear these fucking things, might as well, look good while doing it. Or feel cool. I don't know. But I thought it was weird that they're selling the face masks as well. Anyway, so I bought the complete, and I bought these face masks. And I'll talk about face masks in a second because it's a weird thing, face masks. So I ordered this stuff. I ordered it. I hit pay and off. It was like order confirmation. I get the email. And then I look, and my address was missing my fucking apartment number. And I was like, fuck. You spend, a few $100s on some shit. You don't want it to just go somewhere. You don't want them to leave it in the lobby. I live in a large building. There's thousands of people here and a lot of students, a lot of college and university students. And you know what? I don't trust those fucking bastards. So I was like, it's a slight panic, You're like, oh, fuck, I gotta contact them to make sure that my apartment goes onto the address, right? So instantly I sent them an email because the based on the time they were closed. Little did I realize, though, based on the time, they would have been open because I was judging their operation hours based on, Eastern time zone, but they're in the Pacific time zone. So anyway, regardless, next day, I wake up, I go and I check my emails and stuff, and 2 of the items have already been sent. And I was like, fuck, like they're sent, like my skateboard risers and the masks, they've already been sent. And I was like, shit, like they're going to be sent, like I don't know, like I don't know the scenario, right? So I try calling them, and then it's like not going through. And like I'm looking, it's 10 a.m. and I'm looking on the website and it says that they're open from 8 to whatever. I'm like, they should be open. Why is it they keep hanging up on me? And then I realize it's Pacific time and everything starts making sense. They're located in Delta, British Columbia, and I guess their head office or whatever. And so anyway, I called him back once they opened, and the guy on the phone's fucking awesome. He's like, oh shit, dude, I guess there was like a glitch or something. And he was like, he sounded like a skate dude. And anyway, he fixed it up and he put it on there, and he's like, well, just to make sure that the 2 items that we've already sent, you get them, I'm just going to send them again. And if you get double, either keep them or drop them off at a store in your town if you have one in your town. Like, how awesome is that? Like, it's, I don't know, but $50 value that he's just sending me extra. So, like, for one, I thought that was really cool. And, like, normally you call these places and you have, like, an issue. And then, like, I don't know if you've ever had this, but you call, like, a customer service place. And then they, like, accuse you of, like, being in the wrong. And now, excuse me, I'm not one of those people that, like, if you've seen my stand-up, I don't believe the customer is always right. Right? The customer is rarely right is what I like to say. But still, when you have an issue, especially when you're not in the wrong, and like they treat you like you're a fucking, like you did something wrong, it's like, I'm like, no, I put the address in correctly and it just didn't come up, Anyway, the guy there was no question about it whatsoever. He was fucking super awesome. He's like, man, shit, it must have been a glitch. Let's fix this up for you. And so he made sure the items that weren't sent had the right address on it. And then he was like, yeah, let's just make sure you're going to get your items you want. So we're going to resend them again. If you get double the items, keep them. Or, if you don't need them and you have a store in your town, go drop them off at the store. That was it. Like, there's no cross your T's, dot your I's kind of thing. It was just, we want you ordered this, you spent the money, we want you to have your thing, and we're going to make sure it gets out to you. It was fucking amazing. It was super awesome. And then as he's looking at my order, he realizes that the deck I picked might be a floor model. He's like, there's a note on these decks, and he's like, I'm not sure if we have more in stock right now. We may have to wait for more to come in stock, so they may be sending you a floor model, and I don't like sending people the floor model because it gets nicked up and chipped, and then you're not getting a fresh deck. So why don't you go on the website and look and see if there's like a plan B, like another option that you might want. I realize that Plan B is a skate company, so anyone who's listening to this that's skating, it's like, oh, he's gonna look at a Plan B. No, that's not what I meant. I was getting a zero deck, and then I was like, okay. So then I go on the site, but if you know anything about skateboarding, the deck, you want your decks to match your trucks, and so the deck I had matched the trucks I was getting, like size-wise. You don't want your trucks to be too wide and like hang outside of your deck, your wheels hang outside your deck, or you don't want it to be too narrow. You want it to be just right. And so anyway, he tells me this thing, so I go on the site, and I'm able to pick another deck that is like the backup in case the one that I wanted wasn't there. So there's going to be he's like, if we could do this, and then there won't be a delay. Otherwise, you may have to wait for a back order for the deck, and then your shipment is going to be, he's like, I don't know how long. And I was like, that's amazing. If I didn't call, like, granted, they probably wouldn't have done anything, and I just would have got my deck whenever the deck came, right? But I called. I had like an issue. He sent me double the product and then went the extra mile to make sure that I'm going to get my setup like at a reasonable time. It's not going to take months. It's fucking amazing. So Zoomies, fucking my hat's off to you folks. It was great. It was probably one of the best customer service experiences I've ever had in my life. And I wonder if it's because it was like you could tell it was a skater dude on the other end of the line. But yeah, so I tried to support a local shop. It was too expensive. I couldn't do it. I couldn't afford to do it. I haven't been working, right? I'm making less money than I would be, and I'm not making any money. I'm just getting whatever the fucking, EI is giving out. So, you got to do what you got to do in tough times. So yeah, I bought a new skate deck. I bought a couple masks, and I got another mask here. And so the government the other day was like, we recommend wearing masks when you can't keep 2 meters away from other people, which, I'm totally down with. That makes sense. So I went to do a bit of groceries, and I brought my mask along. Before I went into the store, I slapped it on. And I got to be honest, it's really fucking weird walking around shopping with a mask on. It's actually, I feel weirder wearing one than seeing the employees wear one. I think a lot of it has to do with like not a lot of people. No, that was almost a weird sentence. That not a lot of people in my neighborhood are wearing masks. So you're like the one guy, and then people look at you, and it's like, it's a health thing. So it should be like, fuck it, I don't care what people think, right? But then we live in such a polarizing time right now that it's like, because I'm wearing a mask, I'm some fucking, ultra left-wing, pussy. And then people who aren't wearing masks are, conspiratorial conservative wingnuts or something. Like it's like this weird, I don't know. You can sense it because like I'm wearing a mask, and then there's an old guy at the store who deliberately came way too close to me. Like basically rubbing shoulders with me in the store. Wasn't wearing a mask or anything. And you could just tell it was like, oh, yeah, you don't feel safe out here? I'm going to make you feel really unsafe. And it's like, why would you do that? Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense. I think for the time being, masks, if you're going into any kind of building, should be mandatory. That's just, if you're outside, like this, masks aren't to protect us, right? Like, that's the whole message they've been pushing around. Is like, we're not wearing masks to protect ourselves. We're wearing masks to protect other people. So like when we cough or sneeze or whatever, we're not shooting particulates all over the place, right? Makes sense. Good idea. So like, just put it on when you go into the building. Bring your mask with you. Put it in your back pocket. And you walk into a building, a store, a gas station, whatever it is. Put the mask on. Do your thing and leave. And then, like, I know people are like, well, you're still touching your face. Just be careful about it. Just grab it by the loops, put the loops over your ears. You can do it in a safely enough manner and not have to wear a mask all the time, right? When you're outside, it's easy to keep distance unless you're down around the fucking my neighborhood and you're going down to the beach and there's all this construction. So they have like these cattle corrals basically that are, maybe a meter wide, maybe 2 meters wide. Like you can, it's like the width of a sidewalk. Whatever the width of a fucking sidewalk is the width of these things. So you have no space to pass people. And people are biking and going by and no one's wearing a mask. So, I guess in that situation, when you'd walk through that area, put on a fucking mask. Like they say, if you can't separate more than 2 meters or 2 meters or more, put on a fucking mask. Like, I don't know. It's not rocket science. Like, people want this all to be over and done with. And like, they're starting to ease up restrictions. And like, we had the highest spike of cases today in Ontario than we have had in a few weeks, and we've just started opening things up. So I don't know. It's like people want their cake and they want to eat it too, or whatever that fucking saying is. Just wear a mask. If you're going somewhere, just do it. I don't care about gloves. I don't want you to breathe on me. That's the main thing. I don't want you to cough and it go out through the air, and I get all fucking sick, and then I get my cat sick because cats have COVID. Now you're killing me and my cats. You're killing my cats, man. Fuck you. Put on a mask. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. I'm fucking rambling. This is what happens when you wake up. You smoke a joint at like 11 in the morning. Well, fairness, I woke up at 8 in the morning, and then I smoked a joint, about an hour or so before doing this, and yeah, maybe I shouldn't have done that because I might be a little scatterbrained from here on in. Yeah, so speaking of like trying to support local, I was reading this today about how there's a good chance we're going to see a lot of businesses having COVID-19 surcharges. So when you go to the barber, there's going to be an extra $5 in your bill because they have to implement masks and put in dividers and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to be honest with you folks. I'm torn on this thing. I get it. I understand. But in the same regard, like, I haven't been working since March, like mid-March, So I've been getting, you have a lifestyle, right? And you have your rent, your bills, everything that you set up in your life, or accumulate, whatever. And based on your employment, right? Your income. At least that's how you should do it, right? Like, I guess we're finding out a lot of people are living beyond way, way, way beyond their means right now. Well, not right now, but like in general. And right now they're getting fucked because of it. But like, you look at what you make, and then, your rent, like, I live in my apartment because I make enough money, like every 2 weeks, every month, that I can afford to pay my rent in this apartment. And then my internet, my phone, and, the other little services that you use, I can cover all those costs and then have money for groceries and to get to and from work. Just like I'm a paycheck to paycheck, more or less. But then when I do stand-up and whatnot, and it all works out. But my day job wise, I make enough money to cover my costs of living, my rent, my food, my bills, those amenities, and then a little extra for fun, right? I'm learning though, like a lot of that extra money is just spent getting to and from work, which is kind of depressing. But I guess if I owned a car, it would be the same thing. I don't know. If I owned a car, I would have no money. Anyway, I forget what I was trying to get at. Oh yeah, the surcharges. So I'm making a lot less money than I would normally be making, right? Or getting a lot less money than. I want a haircut, so I'm going to go out and get a haircut. Normally a haircut's like $20, right? 20, 25, wherever you're going. And I usually give a $5 tip anyway. So now you're almost at $30 for the haircut. Now they want another $5, and now you're at $35 for a haircut. More if you go to some of these boutique places. And I can't. I don't know if I can justify $35 for a haircut right now. I know I've wanted a haircut really bad, but it's like, I get it. The businesses haven't been open, so they don't have any money coming in. So they, they can't. I don't know. It's the thing. I guess this. I don't know if this is gonna sound like I'm like a poor bitching person or whatever, but like businesses have more access to more capital and more money and more aid than we do as like people. Like if you compare, like I understand they're not making any money, and like I and they have to pay, but there's incentive for their rent, there's incentive for loans, and there's incentive for wages, right? So I get that it's going to bite them in the ass, but I'll go and get my haircut on a regular basis if I'm not paying to out of my ass, right? Like if I'm having to go, like for example, the skateboards, right? Like the deck was, the same deck sold at a skate shop here in Ottawa. I got through this company for almost $30 less. That's $30 I can put towards groceries and food, and maybe you get sick and you got to buy medication. I don't have health benefits, so anything that's not covered, I have to pay out of pocket. So you need to have some sort of fucking emergency net or whatever. But then again, I understand the surcharge. Like it's like I see restaurants are going to open up, and you're going to see this COVID-19 surcharges, and like then I know everyone's going to mark up their fucking prices as well, and things are going to be so astronomical that I don't think we need fucking restaurants, because like just go make your own fucking food. Like just go buy the food yourself. You're going to say like to get a nacho at a restaurant, like at my restaurant before the this whole pandemic, you get an order of chicken nachos. One order would cost you $25. Now, if you went to the restaurant or to the grocery store and you took $25 and you bought all the ingredients you need to make chicken nachos, a bag of chips, salsa, fucking green peppers, onions, chicken, sour cream if you want it, jalapenos, green onions, why not? Let's get fucking crazy. The cheese, you get all these things. It'll be, around $25, okay? And you can probably make about 6 nachos. So save that fucking money. Like you would be in a better, like we would all be in a better place right now if, we weren't spending, like I look at, the $2,000 a month or whatever it is, right? And it's less than what I would normally be bringing home. And I still have some money in my pocket at the end of the day. Like I'm not spending as much as I was, because I'm not ordering delivery. I'm not ordering out. I'm not going, taking the bus or Uber's places. I'm, getting around on my skateboard. I'm walking. I'm spending a hell of a lot less money, and I feel good. I've been eating better than I have been. So I don't I don't know if I need to go to restaurants anymore. Like every now and again, it'd be nice, to go for a really good steak or something that you don't know how to make. But like, if you looked around lately, how many fucking restaurants exist? There's too many fucking restaurants. And I know it's a jobs program because people need work. But like, fuck some of these places, calling it work that's courteous. That's very, very fucking generous. Like, it's borderline slavery in some places. And I don't know. Things are going to be really different. Things are going to be really, really, really different whenever we get a handle on this COVID-19 thing. And I don't know about like I'm really hoping restaurants like sit down, and I'm not saying this because I don't want to go back to work. I would like to work. There's especially I'm not going to get into it, but I would like to work. But like, if restaurants are in phase 2, or bars especially, like if you're in a place with 200 some seats, how are you going to be able to, 50% capacity, so 100 people? I don't know how you're not going to have 100 people, maybe you'll have 25 a day, 50 a day. How do you stay afloat? How do you keep things rolling along? Why without like making things astronomical? Like, I'm already paying at most places. You pay like $7 to $8 for fucking a beer. I bought a case of beer 2 cases of beer delivered to my house the other day. It was like $70, $80, just under $80. If you do the math, it's like, a couple bucks a beer. It doesn't, like, I have 48 beers here for what would be like a nacho and, a couple beers out at the fucking restaurant. Like, it's, I don't know. This is why I think, making that curb benefit universal and like a permanent thing like Spain did would work, because let some businesses go out of business. Like it's kind of like people who live above their means, who like, live a more expensive lifestyle than they can afford. They're kind of living in credit, but they hope, we can catch things up. And I've been guilty of this throughout my life. Then something happens, and then you have no security, no safety net, no nothing, right? And it's the same thing like a business. Like if you have a business and you're not ready to weather the storms in one way or another, like the businesses that are going to keep, like, that are either still functioning or going to, pick up and get going right from the get-go, they're the good fucking business owners. They're the good people that are fucking doing their thing. The ones that fold, well, I know you're going to point at everything and people, and it's going to sound callous, but maybe you didn't have the right fucking plan. Maybe you didn't have the right play. Fucking surcharges, man. It's gonna be an interesting issue. I'm curious to see how that goes out, because you know what, you want to support the businesses, but then again, I don't, like, most people don't have an extra $5. So I don't know, but then again, like I said, I've been saving money, not having to like pay for transit and all that extra stuff. So maybe that extra $5 can go to that COVID-19 charge. But then after that, like, but I don't know. I don't know. It's confusing. I guess it's like the thought of a tax, because we all know taxes are going to go up, right? At some point, like we all know sales taxes or income tax, everything's going to go up at the end of this, after this, right? Because you have to pay for the fucking all the aid. So like seeing this from the get-go, like this better not be a permanent thing. It's like it's always a slippery slope where why would we stop charging them $5? Like, I don't know. You get accustomed to that $5, and then when the pandemic's over, you're not going to not have a COVID-19 surcharge, are you? You'll call it the safety charge or something ridiculous like that. Health and safety charge. I don't know, folks. I think it all comes down to leadership, right? Like we need good leaders in every facet of life. And I think like good, like true leadership, it's a dying art form, man. No one cares about people. They care about themselves first and foremost. And anyone that's like, no, I care about people more than me, you're fucking lying. The number of those people that actually care about people more than themselves is such a minuscule number. And that's fine. Like, that's how we survive, right? And that's not, like, leadership isn't necessarily putting yourself or putting others before yourself. It's a big fucking part of it on a work level, right? But it's not the end all and be all. Like, good leadership means making tough decisions. It means doing the things you're asking the people you're leading to do as well. Like, don't ask anyone to do something you're not willing to do or you're not able to do. Or maybe able might be a wrong word, because, you bring, as a leader, you might bring people in to offset your deficiencies, right? But don't tell someone to clean a toilet if you're not going to clean the toilet. Like, I worked for a guy, And he's always about like, oh, we need to make sure that everything's clean and tidy, clean and tidy. And then I'd be away for the weekend and I'd come back on the Monday and he would be the one that would work all the weekend and it would be fucking filthy. I'm like, this is your fucking restaurant and you're telling all of us to clean. And then he's like, well, I'm the owner. I don't have to clean. That's what I pay for you guys for. So if it piles up, it's a restaurant, man. It's fucking disgusting. You can't fucking do shit like that. Just fucking, step up, make difficult decisions, be an adult. Don't get suckered into name calling or pandering. Like do what is right by your heart, not what's right by your party or boss. That's what makes great leaders. And that's what fucking, I don't know. I'm not a fan of Doug Ford's politics. I'm not a fan of the Conservative Party's politics and their, platform and their hopes, dreams, and desires for this country. I'm a pretty liberal person, but I can totally tell you that Doug Ford is a fucking amazing leader during this pandemic. He's the leader you want, the type of a leader that you want during this pandemic, especially on a provincial scale like this. Because he really kind of makes you feel like, Uncle Ford, right? He comes out and he's reassuring and he's like, listen, no, we're going to do everything we can. And here's what I'm giving leadership, him leadership points for, is that as a conservative guy, prior to all of this, he would shit on the Liberal Party and specifically Trudeau and whatnot. And I've watched a lot of his press conferences, and he's always like, the deputy prime minister and the prime minister have been doing exceptional jobs. The federal government is doing, he's, talking about how great these people in a different political persuasion than him are doing and how he enjoys dealing with them during this because it's making life easier. It's not sure, they're doing that, but they could be doing more. Like you look at the premier in Alberta, right? It's nothing is good enough. Nothing is good enough. Nothing is good enough. More. Complain. And it's like, we're in a pandemic right now, right? There's a crisis going on here. We need to fucking come together. We need some form of unity. It's like there's a time and a place, I guess, for partisan politics, but this isn't it. We need to be just let bygones be bygones. We don't need to fucking why is Scheer calling for Parliament to reassemble? They're doing it virtually. You don't all have to be in the same building. It's because it's a thing that a sticking point that he can, play up. And he's like, oh, and he can fuel that fear and anger that, a lot of the conservative population has. And they're like, oh, this is the government trying to control us. And Ford goes out there and he's like, here's the plan. Here's what we're trying to do. And even when things aren't working, he's like, listen, it's not going the way we want right now. I'm pissed, and I'm trying to get on top of it to get people going. But you know what? Humans are not, in fact, humans make mistakes. And I don't know. I think I will not vote. I probably won't vote for him, but I bet you a lot of people are going to fucking vote for him after this. But here's a great example. It's Doug Ford comes out and he does this cheesecake recipe. Right? And he's like, Doug Ford's cheesecake. And we're trying to encourage people to stay home, stay in their houses. And, so a lot of people have been baking. That's one of the things a lot of folks have been doing. And so he comes out and he does this. And he's like, it's an amazing cheesecake. And people are like, debating his cheesecake. And then the Ontario Liberal leader comes out. I don't know his name. Del Luca or something like that. And he basically mocks Doug Ford's video. So he sets up his kitchen with all his cooking stuff around. He's not cooking anything. So the time that took to just stage his fucking kitchen is ridiculous. and then all of it to look like, oh, I'm cooking a thing too, to say right now is not the time for cheesecakes and hope. It's a liberal person said that. I think this is exactly the time for cheesecakes and hope. Like, who the fuck are you? Like, we're trying to encourage people to stay at home, work together, be one, be Canadians, and you're here fucking nitpicking about a fucking cheesecake recipe? Go fuck yourself. Like, you're making it very hard for me in the next, like, provincial election to vote for anybody. Like, maybe the NDP, but we have no good, like, out of the lot, Ford's the best leader in the Ontario, politics game. I don't like his policies, but maybe he'll evolve because of this, right? Just like Trudeau. I think Trudeau's doing an impeccable job. Sure, I'm sure he's taking a few, like Doug Ford's cheesecake video is not going to hurt his re-election thing, right? I get it. I understand. But there's a dual purpose to what he did there. Same thing with like Trudeau. I get it. His thing on the steps, it's a bit of a gimmick, especially at this point. It's going to bode well for re-election. But in the same regard, he's showing us that he's just like us. He's trying to be like everyone else, in the sense where we can all be connected and we can all relate to what's going on. Picking fights right now in politics is not good leadership. Andrew Scheer is a fucking idiot. And just to show you what kind of weasel he is, he's like not renouncing his U.S. citizenship now because he said, I won't be prime minister. You're still the opposition leader till August. Like, what if something were to happen? Now, nothing's going to happen between now and then. Like, no election's going to be called. But still, you're still a leader in Canadian politics. And now it's like, oh, I'm not going to be prime minister, so I might as well keep my United States citizenship. I personally think, I don't care if you're born in another country or whatever, but I think you should only be allowed, like, if you're running for federal office, you should only have a Canadian passport. Or at least if you're running for prime minister, you should only have a Canadian passport. But I know he's not running anymore, so like you said, I'm just going to keep my American passport. But that's him talking about renouncing his passport. Like, him talking about renouncing his passport shows that he's a shitty leader. He's just going to say and do whatever it is to help his brand or help the conservative brand. And that's all he's doing right now is he's fueling fires. He's being extremely irresponsible. Fueling fires. Granted, small fires, but fires nonetheless. And like, what would be amazing is for all the leaders of all the major parties in this country to go on stage together, or maybe not on stage together, but go out together, masks on, and say, hey, listen, we are in this together. We're going to get through this together, and it's the only way we're going to get through this is together as a country, as a unit. We do it in our families. We can do it as a fucking country, man, and put all that politics stuff aside. Now I know people are like, oh, well, they're going to try and take extra powers and do this and that. If there's no checks and balances, we still can have checks and balances. Like, look, like Paul, they made amendments to some of their plans going because the other parties were like, no, hey, like the system works. It's not. I mean, it has its flaws, but it's working right now. Like, I don't know. I'm definitely onto that rambling part of the podcast, I think. I think we need more, like, we just need better leadership. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know how we find it, because we live in a selfish, self-centered time. And we're having a pandemic, so that makes it interesting, right? Yeah, just need a few good leaders. Men, women, I don't care, gay, straight, just someone to come out and be like, listen, we fucked up. If you fuck up, like that's another great trait of a leader, is admitting when you fucked up, right? And not just like admitting to that you fucked up to the people that you have to be accountable to. like that's, I don't know. Like it'd be great to see like if here in Ottawa, like we had this whole light rail fiasco. It's great that we don't hear about it at all anymore because well people aren't taking the transit, so I'm sure it's running smoothly. But we spent billions of dollars and it didn't work properly, and everyone's pointing fingers. Everyone's pointing fingers. We just needed one person, just the mayor, to come out and go, listen, there was mistakes made. I made some mistakes. But no one's going to admit any kind of mistake because, well, then you're going to lose your job. We need to put, or leaders need to put, the country, the people they're leading, ahead of any kind of personal gain, any kind of personal desire. That's what makes a leader. And that's why we don't have them. Because, who wants to do that? Who wants to do anything without, true personal gain? Especially anyone that's put in that much time in public life to get to the point where you're going to run for prime minister. Or premier or whatever, And so right now, we're slowly starting to open things up. And this is where you see a lack of leadership. It's because no one knows. And no one's willing to say, we just don't know. We're trying our best. Maybe we should just not, maybe we should do things on a slower pace. But I understand the economy, but you also can't let outside pressure, dictate your actions. Still make the actions that are in the best interests of the whole. So I don't know. Is it too soon? There's an uptick in cases. Is it just going to keep growing? I don't know, man. Well, are bars, when are bars going to open? Having bars open and drunk people, I think, is a horrible idea. Even if you have 50% capacity. I know I was talking about this earlier. I kind of got sidetracked, but was it yesterday or the day before? I met my dad for a beer. Okay, and we went down near my place, down by the water. We stood apart from each other. We were down on the docks, and we were apart. We had 2 beers each. By the time we were into the second beer, my dad's the waddling closer to me as we're talking. Kate stepping in closer as we're talking, and I keep having to back up. And that's just on 2 beers, right? People go to the restaurant. You would have to put out a 1 beer minimum on people, maybe 2 beer minimum on people, but you can't let people get drunk in a bar. What if someone gets drunk, pissed off, and then spits? I've had that happen. Shit, I was working in a bar years ago, and some girl pissed all over the seat just while sitting there. I know that doesn't happen on a regular occurrence, but these are things that happen in restaurants, right? People get drunk, they throw up all over the bathroom. Now we're dealing with people's internal fluids. I don't know. It's unless we have restaurant staff wearing hazmat suits or something, like bar staff would have to wear hazmat suits. And if you come to the bar, you got to sign a waiver because chances are you're gonna get fucking sick here or whatever. The comic strip in Edmonton, they had opened up, but the Alberta health officials closed it down. They were, I think they were operating at 25% capacity. They had all these, but because someone was on stage talking, they're not going to allow it. So I know that's kind of scary for me as a comedian going forward. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do, but yeah, it's interesting times, man. It's interesting times. And I know I'm fucking just rambling about the shit that we're all probably thinking about, and we want a bit of a distraction. So I'm going to try next episode. We'll try to no pandemic talk. Let's see if we can do that and make the next one a distraction. Because I feel like I just kind of rambled all about the pandemic today. Oh, excuse me, I'm getting yawns. But NHL's looking like they're coming back. Well, at least they have plans. Other sports leagues are trying to make returns. I don't know. I don't want to be one of those fear-mongerers or someone that's we need to keep everything shut down because, I understand it. We need to get things moving again. We need to get the economy going again. But at what cost? How, I don't know. I'll be the first person to say we have too many fucking people and we need less people. So let's open it up and let's just let fucking natural selection fucking do its thing. But you know, that's not a popular stance. And other places in the world, like Switzerland, have been trying this, and their death toll is really high. So, and there's no yet sense of herd immunity over there. Like their big play was like, oh, well, we'll just let it spread through the population, and we'll get herd immunity, and everything will be fine. And 4 months later, it's a huge problem over there. So I don't know what the answer is. I'm just a fucking out of work comedian sitting at home talking to a microphone. So what the fuck do I really know? It would be nice to watch some hockey, so I hope that comes back. It is nice talking with you folks. Do you have anything you guys want me to talk about? Ladies, guys, ladies, non-gendered folks, foxskins, whoever's listening. My people in Latvia, how's it going? Croatia, hello. San Francisco, what's up? I hear you got a poop problem. I hope it's not adding to the chaos right now. Everyone else, thanks for listening. I love it. I love that you listen. It's not a lot of you. We got a small little handful, but we're going to grow this son of a bitch. And we're going to grow it with your help. So if you can go to foolishcanuck.com, go to the contact page, send me a message. Let me know what you think about the show. Any recommendations, suggestions, things you want me hear me talk about. Stories from my life maybe that you would want to hear. You know, I had sex with midgets. I could talk about that at some point. My mom left my dad for a woman. I had a gay guy live in my closet. There's a lot of things I could talk about. I was a bowling champion for most of my youth, right up until I was like 16. I've been working since I was 12. Lived on my own moved out on my own when I was like 15, 16. I've lived all over the country. I've traveled all over the place. So there's stories. So we can get into those next time. Today, I've had one of those weeks where I watch too much news. I woke up every morning this morning and I watched news and I watched the press conferences, and you can't do that every day because it can suck motivation right out of you. And then when I come in here to do this podcast and it's all talking about the pandemic and I'm regurgitating things I've heard and things that are kicking around in my brain that aren't fully thought through. So we'll try something different on the next episode. You can follow me on Twitter though at Foolish Canuck. On Facebook, Foolish Canuck. On YouTube, you know, Foolish Canucks on YouTube as well. And if you can just share with your friends, family, people you don't even like. Hey, if you don't like this, share it with somebody you don't like. Be like, here, enjoy this fucker. I don't know. It's the stupidest thing I think I've said all day. Yeah. Thank you for listening. And we'll talk to you soon. I hope you have a great day. Get outside. But, you know, stay away from people. Much love. Bye-bye.